Ho ho ho, skating fans out there, welcome to a Christmas special episode of the GSN News with I, Victor Althorpe, and
Mitch Whitmore,
the youngest coach with the oldest knees in the game, Mitch Whitmore.
Love it. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about because it's been a while since we did our last episode. We've really been slacking. Vic was at World Cups and
Slacking.
just busy, So got away from us, but we're going to try to crank out some more shows in this next couple weeks here. But yeah, lots to talk about.
Just
ready.
I'm Laurent Dubreuil, and you're watching Global Skating Network.
Why don't we start with some short track news? We didn't discuss these World Cups, but that William Dangeneau, after the first World Cups, was killing it, and he's staying the same. I haven't seen somebody this dominant on the men's short track side since Victor on.
That's true. It was not the home soil advantage that we had talked about before, because every time they're in Canada, the Canadians do well. He it's just every time they skate short track, he does well, I think.
Yeah, it's a good point. I forgot about they got 2 World Cups back to back because of the pad situation in Salt Lake City. But he's maintained that, and all the other short trackers seem to be thinking he's pretty untouchable overall. Short track, anything could happen, but he's for sure got the best odds of winning. And on the women's side, it's as exciting as we expected it to be. There's Ariana Fontana's back in there, but all the same names from last year are killing it again.
Yeah, we have the whole field more or less right now. And super cool.
I know we said it. We asked for it previously that they be able to do all the distances, and it is so much better racing because of it. Like you're actually racing the entire field, and now you see who is truly the best in each race. I love it.
I will admit, I'm obviously more into long track, inline skating, sports I've done myself. But this is definitely one of the first time I think where I know I need to tune in for short track racing, not just for the final. Because the level, especially in the women's here, is so high. There's so many. You can't just say, the good skaters are going to be in the final. Because there are more good skaters than the amount of people that will be in the final.
Right.
So it makes it exciting already from the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. For me, on the men's side, it's less exciting at the moment because there is one that is so much better. But on the women's, you just don't know who's going to win because there's so many good skaters right now. So, I think one other we want to talk about, too, is Corey Stoddard, who got her first World Cup win. Seeing her back on the inline days as a junior, she was very, very talented. And I think it was just a matter of time before she crept her way up there. And I think that really is going to open up the floodgates. She's going to be winning some more races soon.
They're going to have a good relay team if Julie Leetai also gets fully back at it.
Yeah.
Kristen Santos is Kristen Santos. That's
right off the back of Corey's first win, Kristen wins the next 2 races. Pretty wild for Team USA right now. Relay still needs some work, but the 2 of them are flying.
Yeah, it could be a good competition. The Canadian women are also back with, I think it's the first season since maybe the Olympics where we have all the Canadian women at the World Cup at the same time. There's been some issue with Sarod and Kim Boutin, but this is the first time we see all of them at all the World Cups.
And they have a lot of depth. Their top 5-6 women are all really good. So it seems like they always have a Canadian in the final or at least in the B final.
That's true.
More news with the women's side. Hana, still a bit of a wrecking ball out there. But it sounds like they have a new coach, the great Joey Mantilla from the inline/long track world is coaching the Belgian team now.
It's pretty wild. They are definitely shoveling coaches, and even within the team position, Joey was a cameraman and a little bit of, block chaser, and then they got a new coach, Fred, and then now it's back to Joey being the full coach. It's very interesting seeing how it all plays out. Joey obviously has more experience with skating than almost anyone out there, but not with short track.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops in the future. Joey will, I'm sure, be the first to admit he's not very good at short track. Yeah. Does not mean that you don't know how to coach short track. I'm excited to see how, and hope, wish him good luck in coaching that squad. That's pretty cool. We heard something about the Russians at the next Olympics.
Yes, as of today, as we're recording this episode, the ISU announced officially that Russian athletes, or should I say Russian athlete, will be allowed to race at the Olympics and at the 4 Olympic qualifying events next season in both long track, short track, and figure skating.
I don't really understand. Like,
it's one single athlete per event.
To me, it makes no sense because if you're gonna allow one, why not more? That's just an arbitrary thought to just.
Why that number?
I'm just gonna, you can have one. We'll sprinkle in, but you still have to be an independent nation under the Olympic flag.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't add up. If you're banning them for the doping usage, fine.
War,
if it's for the war, fine. But then now you're just giving little consolations. Yeah. To me, it should either be all or nothing.
I would also say you take
random one skater.
You take it's not like you argue how much war crime does a country do, and then base the amount of skaters that will
seriously
allow
though.
Yeah. It's either like you said. I would understand if we exclude Russia. I would also understand if we include Russia. But either way, I think they should be included in the same manner as everybody else.
Yeah,
and
you're at war, but it's not genocide. So
here's
one skater.
Yeah,
then you're not using mustard gas.
It's if we were trying to look at it from the ISU point of view, I guess that the reason they decided to do this to show some goodwill, we are open to include Russia, is nothing against the athletes. Every athlete has the same right, but still want to show that we are against the political regime of Russia. And then, but again, it doesn't make sense to do it for one single athlete. They were very clear in that announcement that they're going to do a very thorough background check on the athlete that they allow to participate to make sure that they have never in any way been affiliated with any of these war or conflict issues.
Which just opens up another can of worms because how do you decide what counts? Like you were saying earlier, that if they're in the military service, which is part of their funding,
the
right?
As we know from Italy, Germany,
right? Does that count, or is it if you shook Putin's hand at some point, you're out? I don't know.
So,
or do you have to post about him on Instagram? I have no idea.
It's just a
very arbitrary full setup. Yeah. So
the argument they did have is that it was seen in a few sports. One of the bigger ones is tennis at the Paris Games, where individual Russian athletes were allowed to participate. But I mean, that's also, I feel like it's a very different thing that worked out well.
Right.
Where here we're talking about they will have different chances of qualifying, and it seems the athletes will be selected almost by the ISU. So I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, I also don't know if Russia's going to accept it at all. There's a good chance that
the country has to
a disrespect to. Yeah,
I hear you.
So time will show.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. From that to another interesting country situation, Min-Suk Kim went from Korea to skate for Hungary now.
Smooth.
Yes, he former 2-time 1500 meter medalist at the games.
At the age of not a lot, he's a young skater,
18 and 20, something like that, but very young. And he's skating pretty fast already.
Straight into racing after 2 years of no racing, 145.
And since he's another Kim, we're going to call him Mid. He's the middle suck Kim. We'll see if that sticks.
And he is skating. He's representing Hungary. Not sure why. Maybe that was the smoothest transfer you could do after the issues with Korea after some drunk driving. But he is training with Team Gold. That we've seen them be pretty successful, so it's exciting to see. If you come straight back and despite skating in the B group had the 6th fastest time in that 1500 meter, or is this going to go after a season or a few seasons of international racing?
Yeah, interesting on the Hungary aspect. Leaving Korea, which is not the first Korean athlete to leave.
That's very true.
But also not surprising that he would choose Team Gold to skate with. Johan has done a great job of recruiting really good skaters. He's also done a really good job of getting results last season.
I mean, it's probably a good choice if you are, especially having that Asian background.
That team is already
closest to that. Yeah, and then
makes sense.
It's a better option than training with the Hungarian national team, I see.
Yeah, for sure. Some more long track news. We did have a junior world record by Metodej
At sea level.
at sea level.
Yeah.
At a rink that was fast but not insane. Pretty unreal what this kid is doing.
Yeah.
And it's even more unreal for us to say that when there's a Jordan Stolz out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have these two young bucks right now that are just phenomenal. Him setting the junior world record, I can only imagine how fast he's going to go in the 10K in Calgary. We'll see what the Milwaukee conditions are like, or in Heronvane later in the year. He's going to be in for probably more junior world records this season. Also, speaking of Jordan, we'll talk about that in a little bit too. His win streak is insane. But also Yenning DeBow, who's really young. We just have this crop of young skaters. Cooper,
and Jill
a little older,
Dowd
but
should
yeah,
probably be included in this conversation as well. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, we see a lot of young
Crazy.
skaters killing it.
It's been a more of a shift. I feel like in years past, it's 26 to 30 is the heyday.
Yeah.
But there are some that are out there that are
Just
really
figure it out
freaking
at a young
fast.
age,
Yeah. And I think it's being overlooked how fast Yenning did go.
Yeah.
Last year he went crazy fast, and Heronvane went to World Cups, didn't go that fast in comparison.
And he does suffer under
This
the
year's a little different.
Howard-Bucko syndrome, where if Jordan Stolz had never been born, Yenning DeBow would be almost the star of the decade at this point already.
He's crushing.
Constant. He would have been a world champion. He would have been multiple times World Cup winner. He would be leading the World Cup in two distances at this point. And he is, 19, 20 years old? But it just goes a little under the radar because we do have the greatest skater of our generation, probably.
And by the end of it, maybe of all time, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Jordan. This win streak, we believe, is the longest win streak ever, men or women at World Cups. He hasn't lost anything. The only loss he's had since Petter beat him in the 1500 last year. He did lose at the U.S. trials in the mass start.
That's true.
Give Kellen Dunphy a shout out there.
The only man that can
The
take
only
him off
Jordan
the throne.
Slayer of the season. We'll see.
It's true. I also want to give him credit because we previously talked about it every time we talk the most winning athletes, or in our videos that you can find on the channel, the greatest skaters of all time. We do always say whenever it's a sprinter, it's a little easier for sprinters because there's very often more 500 meters. That same way, we also should give Jordan some credit because it is way harder having a winning streak when there are two 500s every weekend. And I would also say that those are the ones where a misstep is what makes it or breaks it. Where if you are that superior in the 10K, Nils van der Poel had...
You can fall and still...
Every lap was a little bit of a misstep, and he still...
Yeah, that's the thing. Is to be consistent as a distance skater, I feel is easier to just tick off wins if you're just that much better. Because, you have room for error in a 500, especially, it's not like the rest of the field is bad. Yenning still did a 4.4 or 4.3 at sea level.
Jordan
That's how
Stolz
fast he has
was
to
forced
go
to
to
break
get it.
the track record at an Olympic rink to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
He did it easily, but
Time after time, and he's doing the same thing. But yeah, you're right. To have two 500s in the same weekend, and the 1,000 and the 15, and he's just continuously winning all of them. So yeah,
it's very impressive.
Quite the spectacle at the moment. Also with the male sprinters, Laurent Debril, hopefully he gets healed, but he had a groin injury, and it really sucks that the ISU point system makes it so if you don't race, you get 0 points.
Yeah. Because we did see 2 weekends in a row. Nil Lup from Spain was also in the A group and also skated a 40-second 500 meter just because he had to.
Yep. Hopefully, I understand why they're doing it. The points make it so if you miss a race, you're really out of the running and the overall. So they want people to attend the races, but there needs to be some sort of clause where you can, Laurent doesn't have to go and do what he did. Maybe, hey, I'm hurt. Can I sit out of this one? Something. And still get some points.
That's
just
true.
to, save face there. But, yeah. Also heard on long track side that they're doubling down on the mixed relay. And that is a world championship event. Not sure how you can throw that into the world championships after all of the failures so far.
Working out so well.
Yeah, I just don't get it. It's not a functional race on long track.
Yeah.
It is way too hard to build up in that short amount of time to get out there for somebody. It's not safe. You're also picking winners based on time, even though it's a pack race. It makes no sense.
Yeah. I mean,
So, anyways,
we would love to hear your
there's so
comments
many
on
other
this.
things.
I think the general, for the first time at this World Cup, I was sitting on the bus on the way back from during the mixed gender event. I was sitting on the bus next to the Norwegian coach and the American coach. I was like, what are you guys doing here? Oh, we're not doing that thing. So it's the first time we've seen teams actually pull out of it and make a statement. It was only Norway and the US, I think.
Yeah.
But those are pretty significant countries in long track speed skating that just straight out said, like, this is too dumb for us to be part of. So I think we agree. Yeah, it shouldn't be a World Championships event.
I mean, it's like watching a series of car crashes on TV. Like,
great entertainment.
You can't look away,
Yeah.
but also you're not watching it because it's
This is true.
Formula One. You know, you want to watch the good racing, or at least we want the racing to be quality, not because it's chaotic and dumb. And as of now, it's still pretty dumb.
Yeah, and every time we go towards, like, it just has to be done in the right way. I feel like the more we talk about that, the more I've spoken to people, coaches, skaters out there, we always come to the same conclusion, like, if it was done the right way, nobody would do it. If we had heats, semis, and then a final, this is harder than it's a 1,500 meter event with 2 starts.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that 3 times in a row, and if you can, that is your only event.
Especially for the women, since they have to be actually from a stand start. And like you said, Ariana did a 10-9 from a stand start with still more laps to go.
And we saw so
hefty.
many DQs. And so, like, first of all, people would really need to prioritize that that's not going to happen before it's a serious event. Right. And I don't think you make an event serious by including a World Champions. You make it serious by a thing, like,
making
that is
it better.
well regulated.
Yeah.
And,
And they did at least try it at the university games first, but I think more of that.
Yeah.
Way more testing, years of it. Make it, like, worthy of being at the World Championships. Not just like a bunch of old dudes thought it was a good idea. Like, let's do it.
Yeah. Because little by little, you also discredit a World Championships medal now.
Yeah.
Like, I think, oh yeah, I'm a world champion. And then if you're like, in the mixed gender, it's like, oh, okay. But if you keep throwing things in there, it's like, at some point, it's just like, oh, okay.
Well, this is probably going to rub people the wrong way, but even with the team pursuit in years past, or the mass start,
Team sprint.
Winning those, team sprint for sure.
Mass start
winning
the first
those in the
year
years past is not as impactful as it is today.
No.
The skaters did it as like I'll race that too. Nobody took it like
there was
maybe a couple people, but very few people took it as their main distance.
To this day, there's still no team sprint specialist out there.
Right, exactly.
And the same was the
people
case
have
for
started
mass
to
start
train it, and it is becoming for sure more serious. The team pursuit is now a real event in everybody's minds, and it's something that people train seriously for. True. Mass start for sure, more and more. It's still not the full field is their thing, but like at least it's getting to be more serious. This other one is just extra.
Yes. So, if you do have an idea of how like a mixed gender relay protocol could work out successfully, I'd be very curious to hear that. So let us know in the comments section. We'll pass it on to,
because we've thought about different ways, but
it's hard to.
It's tough on short track. It's so much easier with the inside inlining. You got the bank to come down with some more speed. So
you also have way more people on the team.
Yeah,
that does help a lot.
Yeah, more than 2 is also quite helpful.
And they tend to be not in short track, but for the repeated effort, they tend to be of same gender.
Right. I think we should move to our trivia question, since we were kind of talking about it already, but we don't know the answer yet. We need to look this up ourselves. What is the longest winning streak besides what we think? Maybe it's not Jordan's, but we're pretty sure it is. What's the longest World Cup winning streak of all time?
ISU World
Men or women at ISU World Cups. What's the longest winning streak? So some people come to mind, like a Shawnee, maybe either Brittany or Heather. I don't know.
Miho's had some good 1,500 meters.
Miho's had... Maybe if it was in one distance. Sangwa for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. Jeremy won all the 500.
Sven had a few seasons where I feel like he was
for sure
spot on at every one of them.
And Pavel could be up there.
That's true.
So, anyways, very interesting. But
that is
Jordan's current streak is 18? 17, 18.
I do remember
there's so many good skaters that don't have a fraction of that many wins in total.
So either you would have to really specialize for one distance, but then that would mean you would have to win it at every World Cup for 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Or you would need to be really good at that many, and that's, except for Jordan, pretty insane.
We went through a list couple weeks ago looking at how many skaters have fewer wins than that are like famous, great speed skaters, and it will blow your mind to see how few wins some people have. Like Derek Barra, gold medal. I think he has 1 or 2 World Cup wins.
Wow. So he has
TC
more
Fitzgerald.
Olympic medals than
there are so many good skaters with gold medals at the games that have maybe 1 or 2 wins.
That's crazy. Some people just know how to peak at the right time.
Think about how many Jordan has in a row.
Yeah. So I mean, like we previously mentioned, like Yuta was impressive because I think we also counted about 18, 19 wins in a row. But that was including Dutch trials, European championships.
Time trials.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
This is just only wins against the absolute best skaters in the world.
And that's only one distance. That was only her thousands.
Yeah, that's true.
That was not including 500s or 15s. This is every race that he has done. Yeah. At World Cups.
Build different.
Yep. Pretty good. So let us know what you think.
Yeah.
No giveaways this time. Next time.
Skater of the week, Kaya Siumek.
Oh, yeah.
For not just joining the Strong Mom Club, but leading the Strong Mom Club. She gave Lola Brigida and who knows, a future Rain Schouten some serious competition by winning a World Cup.
Yeah, and looked really solid.
Yeah,
I was
super impressive.
I was impressed. But yeah, got a dub in her, season back.
That's impressive. Really also, a wild journey to that World Cup win, from doing a solid 5th or 6th place, getting DQ'd, bumping into the B group, winning that, and then straight into winning the A group.
Yeah. That's also another problem with the DQs and
oh yeah,
point system. But
we need to figure this A group B group thing out.
But yeah, good for her to make that comeback. The Polish women are doing pretty well.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
With multiple people on the podium and those 500.
Yeah.
What do you look forward to, Mitch?
Milwaukee. I'm most excited. Yeah, I think obviously World is always the pinnacle, but I am very excited for the World Cup in Milwaukee. We haven't had one
in decades
since before I was skating internationally. And as you know, the culture in Milwaukee around speed skating, people know what speed skating is there, which maybe sounds normal if you're in the Netherlands, but anywhere else in the U.S., people don't know what the hell speed skating is.
That is true.
However, in Milwaukee, they really do. They know at least one name will come to their mind, usually Bonnie Blair or Dan Jansen. I would assume that it'll be sold out every day. They'll have the beer tent outside. So just the event quality, I think, that Milwaukee will have is exciting. That's actually something else that I wanted to talk about was watching the World Cup in Nagano, because I was here. It was, especially for Japan, the World Cup was terrible. The filming, I think the ISU has done a better job. But there was 100 people in the stands, and Japan has so many speed skaters. I don't understand how they can have so few spectators, and it's just silent in there for A group.
Yeah,
Beijing did a pretty good job. The building is just really big.
Yeah,
but at least they had a decent amount of spectators, and that just makes the sport look more, high
that is
quality.
true. I never but looking back, the World Cups we had in Obihiro, for instance. There's a lot of people there, and then. Looking, you can do it yourself. Look up speedskatingresults.com and you will find daily high school collegial competitions that have more than 500 entered athletes. And I'm pretty sure that on Friday we had less than 500 spectators at the World Cup event in Nagano. It's how can you care so much that you want to skate high school races but not watch the best of the best in the world?
Yeah, it's wild to me that a lot of the Dutch coaches in the past, Yillert, didn't like coming to the U.S. because of, or certain places because of spectators. But honestly, the Salt Lake City World Cup last time was one of the most spectator venues of the whole trip. Obviously, Herenveen does a great job, but there's not very many other places that have a lot of spectators. Calgary, for how accessible it is with the college, generally does bad. They did better at Worlds. And again, just to put it back, I think Milwaukee will do a way better job. It's a smaller building, and I think it'll look really nice that it's full.
Yeah. So I'll say the same. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. A place where they love skating, but for some reason have not had a World Cup in several decades will be exciting. I spoke to Ted Jan this morning because we're like kind of buddies now, and that's true. That was it. I just wanted to mention that. No, he did say that. He did say that Calgary. First of all, there's a slight chance they might not be ready. He did say it's probably going to be ready, but that it is way slower than probably all of us expect it to be, and that Milwaukee or Heerenveen will be the fast rinks this year, especially with the World Champs being in Hamar that has not been super fast for more than just a few years by now. So that's going to be interesting, especially with the men and the women having their ultra distances, 5K women, 10K men. Those could be very interesting at high altitude, but slow ice. That's a combination we don't see very often.
Good thing we've been prepared for this.
That is true.
Most of this
yeah,
season.
we've been great.
Ice is better this week.
But I do think we're going to see a lot of hands and a lot of knees out there.
Yeah. A lot of hoods off. That's my favorite. The Dutch guys, at least in Salt
Marcel.
Lake, because it gets hot. And then Talsma also. Hood off, unzip. You're 8 laps in. Why are you so hot? But anyways, entertaining. I think that's all we got.
That's all we got. Let us know if you think mixed gender is super duper dumb. Let us know if anybody did more World Cup streak wins than Jordan or came close. And let us know what you're excited for in the coming weeks and months of this cool skating season.
Yeah, and anything else we should cover besides the speed skating news over this next episode.
Yeah. Inline's doing fine, by the way. Not that anyone cares.
Summertime.
Bye.